There are 11 toxic items that the average American keeps in their living room right now. Items that the Japanese removed from their homes decades ago. And together, they are the reason your house smells stale. Your sinuses are irritated every morning, and your indoor air is worse than the air outside your front door. Most Americans are sitting next to at least 5 of these items as they watch this video. The first item is one you probably bought last month thinking it was the safer choice. Number 4 is something you were told was natural and pure, and it is off-gassing into your couch cushions as you sleep. And number 9 is the single biggest source of indoor formaldehyde in American homes, and it is probably sitting on your coffee table right now. In Japan, the concept of sick house syndrome, or Shin-Kaiu-sho, has been a matter of public health policy since the 1990s. The Japanese government enacted strict building standards and banned, or severely restricted, a long list of common household chemicals and materials. In an American home, the average living room contains a cocktail of volatile organic compounds that would fail a Japanese indoor air quality test. The reason you do not know this is that American regulation focuses on whether a product will kill you immediately, not on whether it will make you sick slowly over 10 years. The Japanese approach is different. They assume that if a material off-gasses, it does not belong in a sealed indoor space where you spend 8 hours a day breathing recirculated air. A Japanese family walks into their living room and smells nothing. An American family walks into theirs and smells a candle they lit 3 days ago, a plug-in they installed last spring, and the faint chemical sweetness of the bookshelf they assembled during the Obama administration. You have gone nose blind to it. Your guests have not. They smell it the moment they walk through your front door, and they are too polite to say anything. So today, we are going through the 11 items you need to remove, and the Japanese replacements that cost almost nothing. The first item is the scented candle. You have been burning paraffin wax candles in your living room for years under the impression that they create a cozy atmosphere. You were told they were a harmless luxury. You buy them at the grocery store. You buy them at the mall. You receive them as gifts from coworkers who do not know what else to get you. Here is what you were not told. Paraffin wax is a petroleum byproduct, a leftover from the crude oil refining process. When you burn it, it releases toluene and benzene into the air, the same compounds found in diesel exhaust. You are lighting a small diesel fire in your living room and calling it self-care. The soot that collects on the inside of the glass jar is not just carbon. It contains phthalates from the synthetic fragrance oils that the candle company added to make your living room smell like a pine forest that never existed, or a vanilla bean that was synthesized in a laboratory in New Jersey. That black residue on the jar is the same black residue that would collect on your lungs if you stood behind a running truck. In a Japanese home, fragrance is achieved through natural materials like hinoki wood, which releases its scent without combustion, or through ultrasonic diffusers using pure essential oils. Not fragrance oils, which is a different thing entirely, but essential oils extracted from actual plants through steam distillation or cold pressing. The fix is simple. Throw away every paraffin candle in your house tonight. Do not finish them. Do not keep the one that was a gift from your sister. Throw them all in the trash and take the bag outside. If you want scent, buy a small block of hinoki wood for $5, wet it under the tap and place it on a dish. The water activates the natural oils in the wood, and the room will smell like a Japanese cypress bathhouse. You will not be inhaling diesel compounds while you read your book. You will be breathing air that smells like a forest, from a piece of a forest, with no flame required. The second item is the plug-in air freshener. You have one in your living room outlet right now, and it has been pumping synthetic musk and formaldehyde releasers into your breathing zone every 15 minutes for the last 2 years. You bought it because the living room smelled like the dog, or the trash can, or last night's dinner, and the commercial promised you a field of lavender. What the commercial did not mention is the mechanism. Inside that plastic shell is a heating element that volatilizes a liquid solvent. That solvent is typically a mixture of phthalates and petroleum distillates. The heat turns the liquid into a gas, and a small fan or convection current pushes that gas into your room. You are not removing the bad smell. You are painting over it with a chemical cloud, and you are inhaling that cloud every minute you sit on your sofa. The Japanese term for this category of product is kagaku koryo, chemical fragrance, and it is almost entirely absent from Japanese homes. The Japanese consumer simply does not trust a product that makes a room smell like something it is not. A room that smells like lavender should have lavender in it. A room that smells like nothing should smell like nothing. Instead, a Japanese living room will contain a small dish of kuzu starch or bamboo charcoal, which absorbs odors silently without releasing anything in return. Bamboo charcoal, or taksumi, is carbonized bamboo that has been activated with steam to create millions of microscopic pores. Those pores trap odor molecules through adsorption, the same principle as a high-end carbon filter, but it requires no electricity and no subscription. You can buy a bag of activated bamboo charcoal for $8 online. Place it behind the television or under the couch. It will absorb the smell of your dog, your shoes, and your last 3 dinners, and you replace it once a year by leaving it in the sun for a day. The ultraviolet light breaks the bonds holding the trapped molecules, and the charcoal is clean again. It never runs out. The plug-in you are using right now is refilled every month because the company that makes it designed it to be a subscription, not a solution. They do not want you to solve the odor. They want you to rent the absence of odor from them for $11 a month, forever. The third item is the particle board bookshelf. You assembled it 5 years ago with an Allen wrench and a prayer, and it has been silently off-gassing formaldehyde into your living room ever since. You remember the day you built it. The pieces came in a flat box with a picture of a happy family on the front, and the instructions were a series of wordless diagrams that made you feel like you were defusing a bomb. You tightened the cam locks, you tapped in the back panel with the tiny nails they included, and you stood back and felt proud. What you did not know is that the back panel, the shelf boards, and the side panels are all made of particle board, or medium-density fiber board, which is held together with urea formaldehyde resin. That resin never fully cures. It releases formaldehyde gas continuously for the life of the product, which is roughly 7 to 10 years. The rate is highest in the first year, but it never drops to zero. Every warm afternoon, every humid summer day, the emission rate spikes. Your bookshelf is breathing poison into your living room, and you have been breathing it back. In Japan, the building standards law sets strict limits on formaldehyde emissions from furniture and building materials. The highest emitting materials are simply not sold. A Japanese bookshelf is typically solid wood, often cedar or cypress, joined without glue, or with a low VOC adhesive that has been certified by the Japanese Industrial Standards Committee. The wood itself smells like wood, not like a chemistry lab. The fix is not to throw out all your furniture tonight, because that would cost thousands. The fix is to seal it. Buy a can of low VOC sealant paint for $20 and paint every exposed edge of every particle board shelf in your house. The edges are where the gas escapes. The flat laminated surfaces are mostly sealed already by the thin plastic veneer that gives the shelf its fake wood grain. It is the raw cut edges on the back panel, the shelf ends, and the bottom edge you never look at that are the problem. Do this on a Saturday afternoon. Pull each shelf out, paint the edges, let them dry outside or in the garage, and then reassemble. Your indoor formaldehyde level will drop measurably. You will not see the difference, but your lungs will. The fourth item is the conventional sofa. You sit on it every evening, you eat dinner on it, your children jump on it, your dog sleeps on it, and you do not know what is inside it. The foam cushions in a standard American sofa are made of polyurethane, which is manufactured using toluene diisocyanate, a compound that is a known respiratory sensitizer. The fabric has been treated with stain-resistant chemicals from the PFAS family, the same class of compounds now being regulated out of drinking water because they cause cancer and never break down in the environment or the human body. And the frame inside is often particle board, which we just discussed, so the sofa is off-gassing from its bones and its skin simultaneously. In a Japanese living room, the sofa is often a low-profile design with cotton or linen upholstery, stuffed with natural latex or buckwheat hulls. The Japanese consumer will pay more for a piece of furniture that does not require a chemical warning label, and Japanese manufacturers have responded by building furniture without flame retardants, without stain treatments, and without synthetic foam. The American furniture industry adds flame retardants because a 1975 California regulation, Technical Bulletin 117, required that furniture foam resist an open flame for 12 seconds. The cheapest way to meet that requirement was to saturate the foam with brominated or chlorinated flame retardants. It was cheaper to add the chemicals to every sofa in the country than to make a separate version for California. That regulation was updated in 2014 to remove the open flame test, because the flame retardants were not actually preventing fires and were causing health problems. But the supply chain never changed. The foam manufacturers had built their factories around the chemistry, and retooling would have cost millions. So you are still sitting on a 1975 chemical mandate, a regulation that was repealed a decade ago, but lives on in your living room because industrial inertia is stronger than public health. The fix is to buy a cotton futon cover and a set of buckwheat hull cushions for your existing sofa. You can find them for under $100. The buckwheat hulls conform to your body like a bean bag. They breathe, and they make no sound when you shift your weight. They are the traditional filling for Japanese zabuton cushions. It will change the feel of the sofa. It will be firmer, more supportive, less pillowy. But it will also stop the chemical exposure, and after 2 weeks you will prefer it. The fifth item is the synthetic rug. You bought it because it was affordable and it matched the paint, and you have never once thought about what happens when your feet walk across it every day. You walk from the sofa to the kitchen, the dog runs to the door when the bell rings, your child sits on it and builds with blocks, and every single one of those interactions is a friction event. Synthetic rugs are made from nylon, polyester, or polypropylene, which are plastics. Every time you walk on a synthetic rug, the friction releases microplastic fibers into the air. You cannot see them. They are too small. But they are there, floating in the shaft of sunlight that comes through the window at 4 p.m., settling on your coffee table, landing on your water glass. You breathe them. They enter your lungs, and because they are plastic, your body has no mechanism to break them down. A 2023 study found that the average American home has microplastic concentrations in settled dust that are 20 times higher than outdoor air. The rug is a significant contributor. In a Japanese home, the floor covering is often tatami, which is made from compressed rice straw and woven igusa grass. Tatami releases no fibers. It actually absorbs humidity and a small amount of airborne pollutants through the natural porosity of the grass. When you walk on tatami in bare feet, you feel the slight give of the straw, and the room smells faintly of dried grass, a smell that is real and not manufactured. You do not need to install tatami in your American living room. The fix is a natural fiber rug made from jute, sisal, or undyed wool. A 6 by 9 foot jute rug costs under $200. It will arrive rolled, not folded, and it will smell like a barn for the first 3 days. That smell is the smell of a plant, not a chemical plant. It will fade. What will not fade is the fact that, when you walk on it, you are not releasing plastic into the air your family breathes. The synthetic rug you have now, take it outside on a sunny day, hang it over a railing and beat it with a broom handle. Watch the cloud that comes off it. That cloud is what you have been breathing. The sixth item is the vinyl blinds. You have them on your living room window, and they have been exposed to direct sunlight for years. You pull the cord to open them in the morning. You twist the wand to angle the slats, and you have never once thought about the material they are made from. Vinyl, which is polyvinyl chloride, contains phthalates as plasticizers to keep it flexible. When sunlight heats vinyl blinds, the phthalates volatilize and enter the room air. You can smell it if you put your nose close to the blinds on a hot afternoon. Go do that tonight. Wait until the sun has been on them for a few hours, then press your nose to the slat and inhale. It smells like a new shower curtain, which is also vinyl and which also off-gases. That smell is not a neutral property of the material. It is the material leaving the material and entering your nose. The Japanese alternative is sudair, which are hanging screens made from split bamboo or reed. They have been used in Japan for over 1,000 years. They block sunlight, provide privacy, and release nothing. They also last for decades. A well-made sudair will outlast you. The bamboo will darken with age, and the cords may need replacing every 10 years, but the screen itself will never off-gas, never shed microplastics, and never smell like a new shower curtain. The fix is to replace your vinyl blinds with bamboo blinds, which cost roughly the same, look better, and do not contain a single synthetic compound. Do the window that gets the most sun first. That is the one emitting the most. Measure the width and the drop, order the blinds, and install them in 20 minutes with a screwdriver. Then take the vinyl blinds outside and throw them in the trash. Do not store them in the garage. Do not donate them. They are a chemical delivery system, and they have delivered enough. The seventh item is the paint on your walls. This is a harder fix, but you need to know about it. Standard American interior paint contains volatile organic compounds that off-gas for months after application. The new paint smell is not a sign of freshness. It is a sign of solvent evaporation. When you paint a room and close the door and come back the next morning, that heavy chemical smell is the paint curing, which means the liquid components are turning into gas and filling the room. You breathe that gas for weeks after the paint is dry to the touch. In Japan, interior paints are regulated to have near zero VOC content, and many Japanese homes use shikui, a lime plaster made from slaked lime and seaweed extract, which actually absorbs carbon dioxide and airborne pollutants as it cures over decades. Shikui is a living material. It continues to react with the air for the life of the building, pulling carbon dioxide out of the room and locking it into the wall as calcium carbonate. It is the opposite of American paint. American paint gives gas to the room. Shikui takes gas from the room. You are not going to replaster your living room walls. But the next time you paint, buy a zero VOC paint. It costs $10 more per gallon. That is a $10 investment in not breathing paint solvents for the next 5 years. And if you painted a room in the last 6 months, open the windows for 15 minutes every morning. The off-gassing rate is highest in the first year. You can accelerate the curing process with heat and ventilation. Run the heat higher than normal for a weekend. Open the windows and let the room bake. The solvents will off-gas faster, and you can flush them out instead of letting them trickle into your lungs over the next 12 months. The eighth item is the television. Not the screen itself, but the plastic housing and the internal electronics. All consumer electronics contain brominated flame retardants in the circuit boards and plastic casings. When the television warms up during use, these compounds volatilize. The longer you watch, the warmer it gets and the more it emits. You have felt this. Put your hand on the back of your television after a 2-hour movie. It is warm, sometimes hot. That heat is not just waste energy. It is the driving force that pushes flame retardants out of the plastic and into the air. In a Japanese home, the television is often placed inside a dedicated cabinet with ventilation to the outside, or it is kept in a room that is aired out daily. The Japanese practice of opening windows every morning, even in winter, is not just about fresh air. It is about flushing the indoor atmosphere of the compounds that electronics and furniture release overnight. The air in your living room at 7 a.m. has been sitting in a sealed box with your television, your sofa, your rug, and your bookshelf for 8 hours. It is concentrated. The fix is simple and costs nothing. Open your living room windows for 10 minutes every morning. Do it even when it is cold. Do it when there is snow on the ground. The Japanese have been doing this for centuries. It is called keizo airu, letting the wind in. You open the windows, you feel the cold air on your face, and you watch the curtains move. That moving air is carrying the night's accumulation of chemicals out of your house and replacing it with fresh air from outside. It is the cheapest air purifier you will ever own. It costs nothing, it has no filter to replace, and it works on every pollutant simultaneously. The 9th item is the laminate flooring. If your living room floor is not real hardwood, stone, or tile, it is probably laminate, which is a photograph of wood glued to a fiberboard core. That fiberboard core is the same urea formaldehyde product as the bookshelf. The surface is a plastic resin, a thin transparent layer that protects the photograph from wear. The whole thing is a chemical sandwich. The core off-gases formaldehyde upward, and the plastic surface prevents it from escaping through the top, so it escapes through the edges, along the baseboards, through the gaps between the planks. You cannot see it. You cannot smell it after the first few months, because your nose has accommodated. But it is there. In Japan, flooring is often solid wood, or it is a product called yukashita, which is a natural wood veneer over a plywood core made with low formaldehyde adhesives. The Japanese building code does not allow the high-emission laminate products that fill American home improvement stores. The fix here is a two-part strategy. First, do not install new laminate flooring. If you are renovating, choose solid wood, bamboo, or tile. The upfront cost is higher, but the lifetime cost is lower because solid wood can be refinished, while laminate must be replaced. Second, if you already have laminate, buy a large format area rug made from natural fiber, as we discussed in item 5, and cover as much of the floor as possible. The rug acts as a barrier, reducing the surface area that can off-gas into the room. A 9 by 12 jute rug will cover most of a small living room. It will not stop the off-gassing entirely, but it will reduce the rate at which formaldehyde enters your breathing zone by covering the largest continuous surface in the room. And when you eventually replace the floor, you will know what to choose. The 10th item is the aerosol spray can. You use it for dusting, for air freshening, for static cling. You have a can of furniture polish under the sink, a can of air freshener on the shelf, a can of static guard in the laundry room. Every aerosol can contain a propellant, typically butane or a fluorocarbon, and a solvent carrier. When you spray, you are atomizing those chemicals into a fine mist that you then inhale. The mist is designed to be small enough to float in the air and land on surfaces. That means it is also small enough to enter the deepest parts of your lungs. The product does its job. The dust settles, the static disappears, the room smells like a spring meadow. But you pay for it with lung irritation. In a Japanese home, cleaning is done with microfiber cloths dampened with water, or with a small amount of plant-based soap. There is no aerosol can under the Japanese sink. The Japanese consumer simply does not accept the trade-off. They do not believe that cleaning a surface should require inhaling a chemical. The fix is to throw away every aerosol product in your living room and replace them with a spray bottle filled with water and a drop of Castile soap. Castile soap is made from olive oil. It is biodegradable, and it costs $8 for a bottle that will last you a year. Mix a teaspoon into a quart of water, spray it on a microfiber cloth, and wipe. It cleans dust just as well as the aerosol furniture polish. The magic was never the chemical. It was the mechanical action of wiping. The aerosol was just a delivery system for water and solvent, and you do not need to inhale propellant to wipe a coffee table. You need a damp cloth in 30 seconds. The 11th item is the thing you were told was the solution to all of this. It is the plug-in air purifier. You bought it for $300, and you change the filter every 6 months, and you believe it is cleaning your air. You turn it on at night and watch the little light glow blue, and you feel responsible. You feel like you have done something to protect your family. Here is what the air purifier industry does not tell you. Many air purifiers, particularly the ionizing models, produce ozone as a byproduct. Ozone is a lung irritant. It is the same molecule that makes smog dangerous, and your air purifier is generating it inside your living room. The state of California regulates air purifiers for ozone emissions, and many popular models exceed the safe threshold. Even the non-ionizing models only capture particles that pass through the filter. They do not stop the off-gassing from your sofa. The gases pass right through the filter media. A HEPA filter is designed to catch particles, solid things like dust and pollen. Formaldehyde is a gas. It is a molecule, not a particle. It goes through the filter like wind through a screen door. So you have been running a machine that gives you the feeling of clean air, while the formaldehyde from your bookshelf continues to enter your lungs unimpeded. The Japanese approach is not to filter dirty air. It is to not make the air dirty in the first place. Remove the source, then ventilate. The fix is to stop relying on the machine. Do the other 10 items on this list, and you will not need an air purifier. If you still want one, buy a model that uses only a HEPA filter and activated carbon, with no ionizer, and verify that it is certified by the California Air Resources Board for zero ozone emissions. The activated carbon will absorb some of the gases, but it is not a substitute for removing the source. Know that the purifier is a bandage. The wound is the sofa, the rug, the blinds, and the candle. You can keep changing the bandage, or you can heal the wound. The unifying principle behind all 11 of these items is the same. In an American home, we have been trained to solve indoor air problems by adding products. A smell means a plug-in. Dust means a spray. Poor air quality means a machine. Every addition introduces a new chemical into the sealed box where you sleep and breathe. You started with a smelly room, and now you have a smelly room plus a plug-in that releases phthalates, plus a candle that releases benzene, plus a purifier that releases ozone. You have not solved the problem. You have layered new problems on top of it. The Japanese approach is subtraction. Remove the synthetic. Open the window. Use the natural material that has worked for 500 years. The American way is a chemical arms race with your own living room, and you are losing because you live in the room. You are the target. The air you breathe tonight is the air that passed through your sofa cushions, your rug fibers, and your vinyl blinds. It is the air that picked up the flame retardants from your television and the formaldehyde from your floor. You can keep adding products to mask it, or you can remove the sources one by one. Start with the candle, then the plug-in, then open the window. Do those 3 things tonight, and tomorrow morning you will smell the difference. The room will smell like nothing, which is exactly what clean air is supposed to smell like. You have been breathing a chemical soup for years because no one told you there was an alternative. Now you know. Start subtracting.